You're listening to the Aluminum Contractor Marketing Podcast, a podcast dedicated to helping your service-based business grow and thrive using the latest technology in internet marketing. And now, here's the host of our show and the CEO of Grow Inc., Matt Law.
All right, everyone, I want to welcome you back to another training episode. And in this training, we're going to talk about local SEO and dominating the 3-pack for your service-based business. So in 2025, we're going to continue our educational course and going to deep dive into a few different things. I want to remind you that it would be good to go back and start with episode 1. If you listen in order, you'll get the full blueprint of everything we do to help service businesses grow in their marketing. Tell you why that might matter to you. Again, my name is Matt Law. I'm the CEO of a company called Grow Inc. We're in Central Florida. We focus and work exclusively with service-based businesses. And over the last, been doing marketing since 2002, so quite a long time. But over the last few years, we specialized in a type of marketing where we could measure everything. And so it's part of our unique scripts that we built, tracking methodology, allows us to really see a clear picture in what works and what doesn't. And so we put together marketing plans for service businesses based on what we know that works, and we implement them for our clients. What's cool about that is that our podcast is everything that works and nothing that doesn't. So you'll find a ton of value in our podcast and training. But you'll also be able to get a copy of our blueprint book, which is the blueprint for your service business. There's also some other cool tools in there where you can see all of the software that we suggest. And additionally, you can get a mini marketing checklist, which will be very helpful. So let's talk local SEO. And this is a huge thing. It's probably one of the most coveted things for service businesses, where if they could rank up there at the top in that map pack, so it's usually called the 3-pack or the map pack, and it's usually the 3 listings at the top shown in maps. Now, you can also run ads in that section, and I'll talk a little bit about that. But again, it's often called the 3-pack or the maps pack, and we're going to talk about that today. It is the most coveted spot of all marketing for service businesses, also for restaurants and companies like that. They want to be there because if you're not in the top 3, you don't show. So today I'm going to do a deep dive into all that goes into ranking there. So I want to say that there is no magic potion. And I wish you could do one thing and rank there. It's unfortunately not that easy. You have to do a lot of things really, really well. And I'm going to walk you through those in this podcast today. So first and foremost, as we jump in, what do you need to do to rank in the maps section? So first of all, you need to get reviews, and it's not just past reviews. You need a steady stream of new reviews to positively impact your local rankings. So as you close out each job that you do or you finish each project, you need to request a review. And so we kind of automate this for our clients here at Grow Inc. And I'll kind of explain how this works. So when a job is closed in a client's CRM, whether it's custom or their own CRM, usually you can trigger some sort of automation. So we basically can send out a text and an email, and it will say, hey, we're sending you a small gift as our way of thanking you for working with us. We really appreciate it if you would click the link below and give us some feedback. Now, it's a little bit more detailed than that, but inside of that gift, there would be, say it's a cup, there would be business cards in there, a folded business card that says thank you and it has a QR code and asks them to leave a review. And then if they scan that QR code, it takes them over to the review page, which basically they can do smiley faces. If it's all smiles, a big smiley face, then it takes them over to Google. If it's like, hey, I'm not happy, then what would happen is it would get an email that could go be sent to the client and keeps them from leaving a bad review. So getting reviews is important for you. So we build this into our system. And so you need to be thinking about, as a small business owner, a service business owner, how you can get more reviews. And so it's a big part of the automation and the setup and the plan for that. And you have to see there's two benefits to having reviews. First of all, it's going to build a lot of trust with customers and prospects. So like someone opts into your website, they came from Google, they probably found you on Google, and they want to see how well, what other people say. I like the quote that says, people don't really care what you say about yourself. It's what other people say about you that matters. So anyway, enhancing customer trust is one, and it also boosts your ranking. So that is why you want to get out there and get reviews, and you want to get a steady stream of doing that. You also want to respond to every single review you get, and you want to emphasize the service that they did. So it kind of puts it into Google. Hey, we did this service. Thank you for your service. And you want to mention that. It's also great when they do. That's when they mention the service as well. So first of all, you've got to have great reviews on your Google business profile. I should bring up a little bit into this, is that your Google business profile is the most important thing to ranking in the Google Maps section or the 3-pack. That obviously needs to be optimized fully. You need to have all of your information, correct information. And when we start a local campaign, we always start with their Google. So the Google account has to be accurate, and then we'll go out and build citations. And I'll talk about what citations are. So the first thing we do when we meet with a customer is we are onboarding a local SEO client. We're going to get all of their hours, their address, make sure that's 100% accurate. We're going to upload a ton of pictures. We're going to add services. We're going to make sure all the phone numbers are correct and the hours. Like I said, all of that is right. So you start with your Google profile, optimize that to the T, and then you're ready to build citations. Now, you may not know what a citation is, but citation is a website, a third-party website that has your address, your name, and your phone number. So name, address, and phone number. They're also called NAP, N-A-P. And as those are accurate across the web, it's a signal to Google that this company is updated, this company is relevant, their name, address, and phone number are correct, and we should show this listing. So you may have been to a website before and it says, and you research yourself and it says, is this your company? Claim this listing. If you've ever seen that, if you could claim it and then update it so the name, address, and phone number are correct, that is a citation. So adding citations is another part of what we do for local marketing. So we've got one, we got to get reviews. We got to make sure Google is perfect. And then we're going to go out and we're going to take Google's information on the Google business profile in the map section, and we're going to make sure that's across the web. So we would go to Apple, all right, and then we're going to go to Microsoft and get it on Bing, and then we're going to get Yahoo account. Then we're going to go to all of these other different directories, some paid, some free, some of them are Chamber of Commerce, all these different ones, and we're going to build citations. We also look at what your competitors have in regards to citations, and we will add theirs as well. So if you ever seen claim that listing, you want to claim those. And does it sound like it could be the most boring job in the world? Yes, absolutely. But building citations is key. And this is why, because Google wants to show accurate, relevant information. So people that search Google will keep searching Google and not leave. So because it's such a tedious task, we use citation builder. So we have people that are part of our team, and it has to be done in a specific order. So you can't just add 10,000 citations at one time because you don't want duplicate citations. So you have to get one round done. And once it's done, then you go and you build a next round and another round, and it's constant scanning of the site. But it is very time consuming, but it is important. And I will tell you, a great tool to get started is Bright Local. It's a tool that you can go in, you can add your account. It's probably about $500 a year for all the services, but we use it with our clients, and we take that data and then we build more citations with our citation builder. But it's a great starting point. You can track your rankings, you can see growth. It's really a great tool for that. And then they've got a couple services where you can add a company to an aggregate, which is a lot of listings, and then they can build some citations for you as well. So we're going to have great reviews. We got our Google account totally optimized. We're building citations, and then we're also going to be building backlinks. So usually a marketing campaign, a full campaign is going to have local SEO, and it's going to have organic SEO. So link building is part of organic SEO, and it's basically where you acquire links to your website and you buy them. It also, so link building, it helps you rank in local as well as they look at the quality of your website and popularity and other things like that. We'll talk about your website. The good news is that when you build links, it's going to help you rank organically. So organic is down at the bottom, the free stuff, but it also helps you in the map section. So we encourage it. So it's important to focus on quality over quantity for links so you don't get penalized. So if you build a ton of backlinks and thinking you're helping, you can actually get your website in trouble organically and in the local. So backlinks are important to this, but also is your website. And so when you think about your website, that is something that Google knows as part of your Google business profile. This is our website, and Google can see the pages you have on your website. And so a couple of things with your website is you want to have your website optimized with your name. There's structured data markup you can add to your website. So you take this code, you put it on your website, you link over your social profiles, you add your services, your hours. And if all of that information's correct, and you've got pages on your website that mention your services, you have pages on your website that mention your cities and all of that, that also feeds back to Google. So having a great website with your local information on it is super duper helpful for that. So all of these are connected there. So you got links being built from other websites, buying backlinks, which is an SEO strategy to your website, healthy website. You got your Google business profile, but then you got to go into your Google business profile and you've got to keep it updated. And so you can do posts on your Google business profile. You can also do posts on social media, which are other citations, which validate that the company is active and working and things like that. And so it's super helpful to do that. So on your Google business profile, obviously you can upload events and things like that you're going to have through posts on that. You can add service and products and all kinds of things like that. So we just encourage you, hey, do social media posts, sharing. We do this for clients, but this is the best practice to try to help you understand how to rank in that Maps pack. If you do all of these things and you work on your Google My Business account, you optimize everything, make sure everything's filled out. Sometimes you may have like an online booking feature for your company. If people can book online, you can connect all that. All of the website, making sure that your name, address, and phone number are correct and matches on your website. All of this is going to be very, very helpful in regards to seeing you rank better in that. And so as you do your updates and keep things updated for the holidays, it all helps with your local rankings. There's a few other things to consider as well. First of all, what categories are you targeting? So hopefully, if you have a lot of services, the key thing is to make sure your business is in the right category. That will help you with your rankings. The name of your company, and if you have your services inside of that name, that also is helpful. The name of your domain also matters. The content of your website, actually your address location. So you're usually going to rank best closest to your address. And so sometimes you may have like a virtual office where you can like out one room that you could go to, and it just may not be in a ideal location. And so you need to think about through that where you want to rank at in the maps, or if you want to add multiple locations. Another thing that we see working, which can be manipulated, which is kind of crazy, is click-through rates. There's tools that will optimize your click-through rate so that you get more clicks to your business versus the company that is above. And so you take all of these smaller aspects along with citations, name, address, and phone number, fixing all of the things on your website, the structured data, the social media, the backlinks, And all of a sudden you're like, Matt, there is a lot to local SEO. And here I've kind of laid out the blueprint for you. And I want to kind of give you a conclusion. I want to give you some tips. I'm going to tell you kind of what we do as part of our service for this. It's important that you remember that local SEO is the long game. It's not instant. It's not fast. And it's not just one thing. And you could do a couple of things and maybe improve your rankings. But really, what I just tell you, in the last 5 years, I've seen it where we have continually done best practices. And as Google's changed their algorithm, so a while back, you could rank a little bit further outside of your maps area. And then they tightened it way in where you would only show really close. And they did this for some industries. I'm sure it's an evolving thing. But, when you're searching for a restaurant, you don't want something 60 miles away. So they tightened that up, which actually hurt our rankings for some clients for a season. But we continued to build pages, build content, build citations. And then Google, all of a sudden, they gave it all back to our clients because it was the number one. So they're continually adjusting this and making changes. But it's really, really important that if you are going to optimize, you look at it as a big picture, as the long game. You may not rank for every single keyword. You may not rank for every single city or area. There's actually search grids and all of this. But if you continue to do the best practices, what I've seen is over the last couple of years, companies that started off they were just barely on the maps and barely getting a number one spot on the search grid. And now 2 years later, 3 years later, they have the number one spot for a huge, for the search grid, which is, some 30, 40 miles in width. So you will be rewarded by following the best practices. And so it's a journey to remember, and it's not one thing, but multiple things that is done correctly over time. It can't be really gamed, which is good, because if you're going to follow the best practices and do it right, you're going to show up on the maps and beat your competitors. I would just encourage you, if I could give you some advice or help, to evaluate your kind of local SEO strategy and prioritize some areas for improvement. So I would start with Write Local, getting an account, and perhaps optimizing your Google listing. Work on those two things to get started. You can also look at some of your competitors' Google listings, see what they're doing in regards to services, what category they're in, all of that, and then work on getting reviews. You can email past people. You can work on a system for, as you close out a project, for getting more reviews. As you do those things, that's a really good foundation for getting started. Then I'd come back and work on your website, your structured data, SEO, link building, things like that you maybe need an SEO company for. All that said, there's a lot that goes into local SEO. It's a slow game. It's the long game. It's working so that you can rank well in organics, and you're also going to be able to rank in the map section. But what I will tell you is that it is absolutely by far one of the best ways to grow your business, because people trust Google Maps. And one thing that I have seen, especially recently, is that Google, if you are ranking well in Google and you're showing up in Google Maps there, you're going to show up in Yahoo. You're going to show up in Bing. You're also going to show up in ChatGPT, in Siri, and all these others. Over the last couple of months, I've seen listings or ads on social media, and they're like, hey, get listed in ChatGPT. Well, here's what I'm going to tell you. When companies do all of the best practices, which really, these are all the best practices, they're making sure, hey, clean website, we're mentioning our data, all the information is accurate, we're checking it, we're building, confirming these links and citations, we're doing all of this stuff. And then what happens is, if I search for our clients that are doing local SEO, they show up in the top 1 or 2 spots on ChatGPT search, which is the wave of the future, which is interesting. So you want to follow kind of the process. I want to answer just a couple of questions on local SEO that I get often. And probably the number one question is how long is it going to take? And it varies. I will say that usually within 3 months, you should see big improvements of starting an aggressive campaign. So usually when we onboard a new client, it's usually the first thing we do, but sometimes it gets delayed if a client is getting a new office or an address or they're changing things. And so whenever that happens, it's good that we don't build citations yet. Because there's variables. The other thing is the website has to be live. It has to have their address on it. So if we don't have access to their website or their address to update that, then we can't launch their local. But usually when it goes live, it's about 3 months to see a big change. But in that process, in that phase, you have to build citations, right? You have to build links. You have to make sure the website content's done. You have to have all of these things done to see that. So if you just throw out a website and say, hey, we're ready, we started this, we bought our Bright Local account, why aren't we ranking? No, there's more things to it than that. The other thing is, another question I get is, how can I build more citations? Well, there's another tool that's very helpful. It's called WhiteSpark, and it's a Canadian company. You can go to whitespark.ca, and there you can basically create an account and you can go in and you can enter one of your competitors and you can see a list of all of their citations, which is very, very helpful. So then what we do is we have developers go out and build competitor citations, which give our clients new citations, which help them rank better. So you can go to all of your clients, get their citations, improve that. Very, very helpful for that. So that's another way that you can get citations. There are other people that will build citations for you, but what I want to encourage you to do is to make sure you don't do too many at a time. You got to make sure one round's done because you don't want duplicate. Another question, what are the most important citations to get? So the most important citations to get are the most popular websites. So it's going to be your social media pages and accounts. So like it would be Instagram, it would be Facebook, it would be all of LinkedIn pages, all of your most important social media accounts. Number one, it's going to be all of the main search engines, Bing and Yahoo and Google places. Start with Google. You want to get those. And then it would be your local chambers or anything that is local to your location. With that said, I want you to know we really appreciate you listening to the podcast. I hope you found it really helpful and informative. Remember at Grow Inc., that's www.gro.inc. You can go there and we've got some amazing resources for you. We've got our complete blueprint. We've got our marketing tools and our DIY marketing plan checklist. You can download those. There's also some audio that are very, very helpful for you to listen to and use. If you're interested in talking to us about a local SEO or a full marketing campaign, you can reach out to us by filling out an application after you request our free resources. Again, this is Matt Law with Grow Inc. I want to thank you for listening, and I hope you have an awesome day.
Thanks for listening to the podcast today. We hope you found today's episode helpful and informative. For more information about Grow Inc. and to request our free marketing blueprint ebook and other resources, please visit www.grow.inc. That's GRO.inc. We'll catch you in the next episode.